Welcome back. Let's now go to the sub-national. Today in focus is Cross River State. We're joined on the program by the Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure in Cross River State, Mr. Pius Angbo. Mr. Angbo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning.
There's a lot to talk about when it comes to Cross River State. Loads of memories and some of the big things that Cross River was known for. I'm talking the Tinapers, the Obudukacho Ranch, the Carnival Calabar. We can go on and on. We don't know the state of those things as it stands right now. Maybe you can walk us through some of the efforts of the government so far in revamping the landscape as far as infrastructure is concerned in Cross River State. Let's begin from there.
Yeah, good morning, Nigerians, and particularly my people of Cross River State. It's a pleasure having you all here. As was said, my name is Honorable Pius Aide. I am the Honorable Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure, Cross River State. As we all know, Cross River State as a tourism destination of this nation, and which have been initiated by past administration. And His Excellency Senator Prince Basi Aide II, that administration have consolidated on the gains of the past administration, which we have really molded a lot of infrastructural development. And like you know about his theme of his movement, the people's first mantra of this government have performed credibly in area of infrastructural development. It will be interesting to know that most of the projects that was initiated from before during the military era, during from 1999 as well till then, the government of Senator Prince Basi Aide II have deemed it fit, to go back and revisit some of those projects, ranging from the construction of Adiabo Ikonitu Road that was initiated during the military era of Abacha. And this is because it is something that will bring a high development in the state. And like one will say that Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route to India, and of course that place area is a swampy area. So I will permit me to say that Senator Prince Basi Aide II discovered the swampy route to Adiabo because it is so swampy, which was the reason why the military era of Sonny Abacha couldn't proceed because the work was so tedious. So I want to thank His Excellency Senator Prince Basi Aide II, for having such lion heart, to delve into that project. It's a huge one, really huge. It's like pumping water to Victoria Island, trying to feel the sea. And of course, this project has recorded a heavy milestone. The fact that we are almost crossing to the other part of the other part of the Adiabo. So it's a huge success His Excellency have recorded. There are a lot of projects that have been initiated, and some have been completed, commissioned, some are in the process of commissioning, and I could go on to count them. The construction of the security formations in the state. His Excellency found that the only way to also encourage the security agencies is to go back and build back on the infrastructure, which presently we have been able to fix, though they are federal agencies, but we've been able to fix the Federal Safety Commission. We have been able to fix the Nigerian Air Force. We fixed the Akam Barrack. We have also fixed the state, of course, the state CID, which is the police headquarters in Calabar, and a lot more. And upon resumption in office, we look at the way the town was, and of course, because of this people's first mantra, we had to start constructing and rehabilitating the town, ranging from the Calabar Municipality Highway, which of course you bear with me that is a federal government road, but we didn't look at it. Like we've always said, the federal government is seated in Abuja, where the Calabar Cross River State, the governor is seated here. So the best thing to do is just to fix the road, for our people. So for those who came to Calabar Carnival,
Right.
where I can tell the story how Calabar was and how Calabar is, courtesy of His Excellency the Governor of Cross River State.
Well, Commissioner, there's a question that Jeffrey asked. It was just writing just before you responded, and he talked about the state of Tinapa and the Obudu Cattle Ranch. Just to speak to that, because when people hear Cross River, that's one of the places that come to mind. They think of such huge potential, and they also think about the dilapidation. So perhaps you want to speak to that as well, because that was a major part of this question he asked.
Of course, for Tinapa, just recently we have commenced work in construction. We have commenced work in Tinapa. His Excellency the Governor have awarded, have engaged in several interactions. Have engaged with several bodies who have indicated interest, in investing in Tinapa. So there is this collaboration ongoing, and to revive Tinapa. And of course, you know that a few years ago, Tinapa was vandalized during the NSAS, but I can speak to you authoritatively that we get to Tinapa now is wearing a different look. Not to speak of the Obudu Cattle Ranch. The Obudu Cattle Ranch, it's a world-class, natural habitation, and which today His Excellency the Governor have done incredibly well in reviving the Obudu Cattle Ranch. And for those who came for Calabar Carnival, somewhere there, I went there myself personally, and I can tell you the place is like wow. It's the Zanzibar, that have been replaced, have been brought back, to Cross River State and Nigeria. So I want to say that we have been able to fix those areas. Tinapa will soon swim back to life. The Obudu Cattle Ranch is functioning very well. In fact,
I'm sorry. What is your definition of wow and functioning well? I need also to put it in context. So there's what nature has given us, which is, as you said, beautiful. In fact,
when you
does not describe wow, it. But the part I'm talking about is the infrastructure. For example, the cable cars, the state of power in that place, the infrastructure. What we can, not what nature gave us now, what we are complementing nature with. So I'd like you to speak to those specifics.
Well, let me start by the issue of wow. It is issue when it has gotten extreme. That you can really see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. When you talk about infrastructure, tourism infrastructure, it is something that has to be very attractive. So the attractive nature of it, which His Excellency have been able to fix, is what I would be characterized like wow. But I want to speak more about the issue of the cable car. The cable car it was done for years, and it is a mechanical nature. With the mechanical nature of it, His Excellency the Governor have delved in to see how we can revive it back. So I can say that because the last carnival, the cable car was actually not working. But the engineers have entered site just this January, and they are working on it. And I can tell you in the next few weeks, the cable car will jump back to life, which will complement,
okay.
and the tourism potential of the cattle ranch.
So, Mr. Aide, as it stands, the cable cars are not working. So, is there light, consistent lights? Is there power there now? I just want us to move on from there. Do we have consistent?
Well,
people complain on water. People complain on water and all of those things.
Water isn't there. His Excellency have fixed. The water have been fixed. The issue of power is what we are struggling with now, and the State Electrification Agency have jumped to work. They are there. They are working presently in the Northern Senatorial District, and of course, their main point is the Tinapa and the Bakas Obudu Cattle Ranch, which a lot of cables were vandalized around some areas, and I can tell you authoritatively, within 1 month, I'm sure that the issue of power will be fixed. But we are also having the issue how to connect to the national grid is our challenge, which of course we will also using this medium to ask the authorities in charge of distribution to be able to see how that can be done.
All
There are
right,
huge depths.
Mr. Aide, let me, if I may come in here. So, I don't know what you justify as wow and all of that. If the cable car is not working, if power is not working, then the place is not working. It's as simple as that. Until it's fixed, it's not fixed. But let's move on now to, I want to quote something I think it was said by the Commissioner for Commerce last year when she visited, I think, the office of the Federal Commissioner for Works in that area. Because of the bad state of roads in Cross River State. Cross River has a lot of bad road, whether federal or state, but I want you to pause it for us. I think the person said, as we are aware, most access roads to Calabar are in very deplorable state and practically impassable, particularly Calabar, Uyo, Ikom, Obudu, Bekwara, Vendaya axis of Ogoja, and the Akankpa as a section of the Calabar Ikom axis, to mention but a few. I do remember, I think the Senate President had visited the state's governor last year, and that was about a year plus when the president came into power. And he talked about that Ogoja, Bekwara, Katsina Allah road that will be in the budget. I checked the budget. I don't think I saw it in the federal budget, but you may have to correct me if I'm wrong. Including the popular Itu-Dukmani road, including look, this picture you're seeing is Ogoja North. That is the state of roads in Cross River State. If we go to Itu-Dukmani, I used to live in Calabar at some point. That between Calabar and Uyo, it's not supposed to take more than an hour, but I've been on that road for 6 to 9 hours. So these are very important projects that will give impetus to the tourism potential and aspiration of Cross River. What is being done at a state level to augment whatever the federal government is doing? Because at the end of the day, the road is in your state.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy you mentioned the Senate President there, and that is to tell you that those are the federal alignment, the Trong Air route, which of course the federal government also have given proper attention. That road was awarded, under the Buhari-led government, and then we had expected the 3 contractors that are on that route, the Samatech, Julius Beja, and of course the TCECC to have done the needful. But we were so surprised that the Julius Beja pulled out from that area on the premise that fund was not released to them. The only contractor we are having in the Calabar to presently doing the needful is the Samatech, which of course they are doing their best. And it's also to note that the original contract, the payment was stated the flexible payment, which is the asphalt. But upon the emergence of the Senate, the Minister for Works, I'm talking about His Excellency Senator Devt, he decided to change the scope of the work from flexible pavement to rigid pavement, which is from asphalt to concrete. And the cost of trying to wipe the process of these changes, it calls for delay. But however, I'm very much aware that the company have complaints about a series of IPC that have been put and payments have not been made. So I want to believe that if this is done, that the work will be in progress, which is the reason why we are also initiating the Diabo Economy Road, because it will take about 35 to 50 kilometers for you to get to the other stretch. Whereas on the completion of the Diabo Economy Road, initiated by the Cross River State government, and of course, it's still the federal project because it was started by the federal government under the military era. But the state government of Senator Prince to have done a lot in intervening on federal road, even the Calabar road you just mentioned. I think sometime last year, we were able to do palliative on that way. And also the Calabar.
All right, Commissioner, just a moment, Mr. Aide. I want to stay on Calabar road because I'm very familiar with that road. My experience is as far back as almost 20 years ago. What exactly is the problem with that road? That for 20 years, and maybe even more, that's personal experience, that road has not been fixed. That's a major and important road connecting Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and down to when you're heading to Ikom, Ogoja, and then maybe you're going to Benue and the rest of them.
Yeah, well, for 20 years, you said the blame shouldn't be apportioned to anybody, but there should be apportioned to the PDP-led government who had ignored that road over the years. Under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that is when that road was initiated. And the Tinubu-led government have also consolidated, in what we are doing, which is why you see the progress of work. I'm happy you said you have been in Calabar, over the years, many years ago. You understand how the road was. From Otupani Junction to Akwa Ibom said, you will agree with me. If the time you were here, there was such a project, that was initiated. But of course, under the APC-led government, a lot of progress have been made on that road, which, of course, it's a process. You understand that the swampy nature of that area, that it is difficult, for you to construct and to do that. But however, I know that the only constraint is fund. The people of Cross River State and Akwa Ibom said are actually suffering on that road. But want to use this medium to beg His Excellency Senator Bola Tinubu to do the needful in ensuring that more funds is released so that the contractors would track back to site and then ensure that those roads are completed on or before election. And so I want to say that the road is in progress. Samatek is presently at the site, not like they have abandoned the job. The job is still ongoing.
Right.
But I am thinking that the major challenge is the issue of fund. Another challenge that would have come was the issue of right of way, which people have built houses. Some people came building small shrines on the road and requesting for compensation, which of course was one of the things that also delayed the process. But today, His Excellency the Governor have stepped into to midwife the process of compensation to ensure that people leave the right of way for the company to proceed in the construction. So I want to say that by the special grace of God, this road, given the resources, the money to the contractors, the project will be on. And then the major challenge we're having there was this stretch of Julius Berger. Julius Berger haven't put from side. There was no contractor to fill the gap, which to stay on the other stretch of their side. But I'm very much aware that the Senate and the Minister for Works have re-engaged other firms, that are capable, to handle that stretch. So I believe in the federal government, of Senator Bola Tinubu, that that road will be fixed before 2027 election. But however, I still want to pray and believe that the people of this area, particularly our people who are in National Assembly, the Senate President and other senators should bring this up on the floor of the Senate and the House of Reps to discuss this as a matter of urgent attention, because I know lives that have been lost in that place. I had a friend of mine who also had issue, on that road. So if this road is fixed, I'm sure that it will increase the economic potential of both states.
Well, let's wind down on this, Commissioner, and I find it rather puzzling that you blame the PDP administration, because the governors in Cross River State for that period were also PDP. So are you blaming the federal, or you're blaming the state as well, because you expect that there will be some sort of synergy? That's really puzzling. But as we wind down, these roads remain unfixed. Even there are roads that people are reporting.
Well, I think
in the state.
It is a Trump road.
Pardon me, let me just land on this question. There are those who are still complaining about roads within the state. And we see the kind of monies that come into the state, the kinds of promises that are made prior to elections as well. So what is your biggest challenge? Is it a question of allocating resources? Is it a corruption thing? The procurement process as well? What exactly is the reason? I mean, you're speaking to Cross River indigents, or at least residents now. What is the number one reason that you're not able to deliver at least good roads all around the state?
Well, for the issue of the projects in the state, we are the only constant we have, and which we have always been talking about, the allocation, the poor allocation as a result of our loss of Bakassi Deep Seaport and our Bakassi Peninsula, and of course the issue of our 76 Firewall, which was also our concern. But however, the government of Senator Prince Bassey too, it's a managerial government, which a heavy managerial efficiency in terms of managing resources. So I don't think we have much issue, but the only issue is that we need money. You know, like the pastor will always say that money is a wing of the gospel. With money, the gospel will always fly. So with money, we'll be able to do more in terms of infrastructure development. But with what we have achieved so far within a year and I want to say is really commendable. With the lean resources of the state, we've been able to put a lot of things in place. We've been able to construct several, if I count the numbers already, we have done over 100 kilometers of road, some completed and some ongoing. And so the government of Senator Prince Basi Ebelutu is about implementing the projects. Right. Some of the projects we met on ground and that the few past government did and some were not completed, we are already on the project. But we're able to fix all of them, like we have ensured that the contractor return back to site. We are presently working in the northern central district in Ogoja Road, that is from Duke Junction to Monaya. We are presently working in Akreya Bridge, and of course, which was also a federal project. We are working presently in Ukele Road. If you are in Cross River here, remember when the people of Ukele were yearning that Ukele must be heard, Ukele must be heard, and Ukele was not be heard. And courtesy of Senator Prince Rochula government today, Ukele have been heard by the award of contract for the construction of the Ukele Road, otherwise known as one local, one can there, one him road. And of course, that road is a road that takes you to the Benue axis. It's a federal alignment. So the government the governor of Senator Prince has stepped into most of the federal road, which of course we had expected that would have been done by federal government. And so we are taking all of this. We are doing this just to better the life of the people, to make sure that people are happy, just like what you're seeing in Adiabo Road today. Adiabo is a federal road.
All right, but today we're totally out of time. My sincere apologies. I know that you know your roads pretty well, and we wish you the very best. And we hope you can get all the monies, because when I look at the numbers as well, the state needs a lot of money. It's very heavily indebted. When I also look at your debt to revenue ratio, the debt sustainability is something to worry about. But I hope that the government and the team will find a way to make this work. Cross River is a beautiful destination. I've lived there, so I understand exactly how beautiful that place can be. But I must thank you, Mr. Pius Aide, Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure in Cross River State. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll switch gears to another part of the conversation. Join us again.